life can be stressful. I get it. I'm usually always stressed out. However, you need stress to grow. And of course, too much stress can be detrimental towards your health. But for me, stress has to be cyclical. I have so many assignments due on one week, but then the next week, I don't. But sometimes it's a back-to-back week of stress, but then the next week it's a little easier. Stress is cyclical, and you need to be able to have cyclical stress where you're grinding super hard one time and then the next time you're not. You need to be able to produce high quality work to then be able to regenerate, to then be able to produce high quality work again and again. But I get it. It's hard to function with too much stress on your mind. So how do I deal with stress? One of the things that you can do is to take a walk outside. You may think this is a waste of time because you could spend that time walking outside on the project or the homework that you have to do. But you have to mentally rest. If you're constantly thinking about how to fix your problems or do this project or do this homework, you won't be able to produce higher quality results because your brain is a muscle, it's a system. And if you keep using it without rest, it's going to get overheated, which means that you can't function the right way. And even for me, I get completely hyper-focused on an assignment. I just keep going at it even though I need to rest. And when I'm hyper-fixated on that assignment, I forget to rest. And this is where we need to take a step back to go on a walk and start to think about how to solve this problem, or think about other things and looking in nature. So stop what you're doing. Get up out of your seats and then go for a walk in nature. Get some sunlight and observe what's around you in nature. Try to be super observant. Try to observe every single thing around you, whether it's the buildings, people, cars, or even the trees or bugs that live around your area. And like I said, then ask yourself, do you see insects? Do you see plants? Do you see any trees? Look at the texture, look at how they grow. And for me, it's hard to see the bigger picture, especially when you're hyper-focused on one thing for a long period of time. You start to lose the focus of the bigger picture. What's the meaning of this whole thing? But what I've found is that nothing really matters. We are insignificant compared to what's out there in the universe. So there's nothing to really be stressed about. And like I said, if you are struggling on a problem and you've been on this problem for a couple of hours, taking a walk and thinking about this problem on how to solve it, it helps. And I do this all the time whenever I'm working on a project or a homework problem where I'm just stuck. I'm like, well, it's time for me to get up and take a walk while I think about how to solve this problem. But since we're talking about stress, we're talking about regulating stress, you should think more about the nature, being more mindful around you instead of the problem. The next thing that you can do is exercise. Exercise is one of my favorite stress relievers that I've ever done. Sometimes I have a ton of pent-up stress because I didn't exercise yesterday or whatever, which means I carried over the stress from that day to the next day. Usually, a simple walk won't help, which means the next best course of action is exercise and doing a hard workout. And since I run track, hard workouts are always there. We sprint and we lift, and those are very high intense. They take up a lot of energy and a lot of your muscles, which makes you more tired, but also it relieves more stress because it's harder to do. But if you're someone who doesn't know what to do for the workout plan, schedule a free call with me with that link down below where I can help you develop a workout plan for you. So like I said, exercise uses energy. Although you're super stressed during that hard workout because you feel tired, you're like, oh man, this is exhausting and it's highly stressful and hard to do. Once you stop doing that and you finish that workout, start to feel relaxed. And to achieve this, do HIIT workouts, do boxing, do running or sprinting, or even lifting. Doing hard workouts consume that energy because technically stress is energy. So if you use that energy towards a workout instead of having it pent up and accumulate over time, then you're able to relax and not be super stressed the next day or in that moment because you use up all that energy and you don't have energy to think about it, but also you're just exhausted. In my opinion, I think mental stress is from the inaction that we do. So what that means is that when we think about we have to do this assignment, I have to get it done, but I'm not actually doing things that are trying to accomplish that assignment or that goal, I start to feel stressed because I'm worrying about completing it. And if I'm not completing it, then I get more stressed because I'm worrying about it. So although working out adds stress in that present moment, it's not like you're doing inaction because you're actually doing something, you're doing that workout, which means that you hit that stress peak to then for it to come down. So the next time that you're stressed, do a hard workout, swim, sprint, or box, or do anything that gets your heart rate up or something that's hard for you to where you're able to let go of that pent-up stress that you have. And if you want to think about when should I work out, when should I do this hard workout, I usually do it at the end of the day or somewhat afternoon area because, well, that's when my track practices are scheduled, but also that's when you've done a tremendous amount of work in the morning, you went through school, and you have this built up stress because you have to think about all the assignments that you have to do, which then you're able to release that stress and energy from after doing the hard workouts to then you can go home to your loved ones and not exert that stress energy or let that negative energy bleed out to them. All right, this one depends on the person, but one thing you can do is to talk to friends. Sometimes you need someone to vent to. You need to let go of your thoughts, all of the accumulated ideas or emotions or thoughts that you have. You need to be able to let it go. And this means that you have to complain. Some people don't like hearing complaining, so if you have a friend who is like that, you should just ask them, hey, I need to vent, I need to complain about something. Would you be able to listen on? But like I said, you're able to let go of this pent up thoughts, ideas, or stress that you have in your mind. Because if you keep letting it accumulate in your brain, it'll start to overflow. It's like a dam. It's like a reservoir that you have in your brain where you have constant thoughts, ideas, or things that you need to keep track of where it starts to accumulate. You have these emotions you have to regulate, certain things or bad things that happened in your day or in your life that has been going on for a while. It starts to add up. So it's better to let this go on someone that you trust and someone who's willing to listen to you. But if you don't want to get that personal, you can also just hang out with friends. Let this be a distraction from the current situation that you have, which means you have to spend time with your family or friends to ease your mind off of the things that you have. Because for me, I like to spend a lot of time in a study room where I'm not able to socialize. And usually when I socialize, I'm able to get more energy from them, but also kind of let go of the stress that I have and start thinking, oh, I should be in the present moment. We're talking about a certain topic and I need to be present, which means I don't worry about anything because I don't have the mental capacity to worry about it. And you may not know what to do. You may not know any ideas on what hangout things that you guys should do. Just ask your friends. Just ask them, hey, I've been hella stressed lately. Let's just do something that takes this stress away. The last thing that I found was you have to breathe. We forget to breathe. For me, I'm always tensed up and I have short breaths. And with breathing, this can be tied in with your walks. The key point is that you have to remember to tell yourself to breathe. And this also means to breathe properly. You can even call this meditation if you want. You can label it whatever you want. However, this is more geared towards your breath than your mind. So breathe from your stomach. Be patient with your breath. Breathe in slowly, pause, and then breathe out slowly. I like to count for 5 seconds in and out. And then I like to pause at least for 2 seconds at the peak of my breath. So 5 in, hold for 2, and then 5 out. And I like to do this between my work intervals. So in between the time where I work between one subject to another, or if I'm going from class to home and I have to start working on another thing, I like to do this in between those, where I just lay down and focus on my breath. And all it takes is 5 minutes. And if you have low energy, napping could help, but I don't have time for napping. Napping is a great way for you to, get more energy with the sleep, but also be able to focus on your breath because this is relaxing. So you may accidentally take a nap. Now this is completely out of the realm of stress, but if you want more energy and you need to sneak in a nap, what I suggest you to do is to take caffeine. So drink a cup of coffee and then take a nap. And I like to call these caffeine naps, where you wake up and you're just hyper alert because one, you got mental rest because you took a nap, but then two, you got that hit of caffeine, which then boosts your energy so you're hyper active and you're ready to go and attack whatever you need to attack. Now, stress is not a villain. People demonize it even though you need stress to grow. However, too much of it is detrimental towards your health. So the things that I do to help me regulate my stress may help you. Just give it a try. Now, if you're down bad because you keep chasing women just because you want a girlfriend, then I suggest you to watch this next video on why you shouldn't get a girlfriend.